following voices are AI generated. We hope you enjoy this video.
All right, everyone. Time for some classic arcade action. Today, we're going to be diving headfirst into the world of Tekken.
Oh, I can't wait, my fiancé Sonic. I'm going to show you all how to properly use a fighting game controller.
Oh, please. I'll crush the competition with my superior fighting skills.
I'll just play as whoever's the toughest and most powerful. This should be easy.
I hope I don't get too many combos from the CPU.
I'm only here for the bragging rights, darlings, and maybe to see if any valuable jewels are hidden in these old games.
Okay. Let's get this party started. First up, Tekken 1, the game that started it all.
Okay, first off, we're actually playing the first 3 Tekken games in the 5th game's arcade history mode. It's disappointing that Namco hasn't done this again in the later Tekken games, and this was on PlayStation 2.
Let's check the overall settings before we play these arcade classics. We'll play Tekken 5 at some point later this year if the fans enjoy the Tekken games. It's the underrated fighting series that people need to play. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat get more attention, but this franchise deserves love, too.
And here's the original trilogy that just so happened to be ported on PlayStation 1, but were on arcades first. They were groundbreaking along with Sega's own Virtua Fighter.
Let's start with the first game. Tekken 1 was made in late 1994 in Japan before it was released around the world in 1995, and you can tell this game is ancient. One of the earliest 3D fighting games, and you fight with individual limbs.
You can tell this is an arcade game since the announcer said good morning. Also, it's actually just me, Tails, and the Knucklehead that'll take turns playing while the hedgehogs watch. First, let's go to the settings since this fossil is difficult.
Good idea, Rouge. Amy, Shadow, and I spent too much time preparing our wedding while Blaze figured out where we'd have it. We're too tired to play games.
Now, who are you going to play as? And who's going first?
I'm going first, and we collectively agreed to play as the main character Kazuya Mishima first. And if we can't beat the game as him, we'll switch to Nina Williams.
Nearly all of the characters returned in every sequel, except for Michelle in the original King and Jack as they had successors.
At some point in a future video, we'll discuss every Tekken character and where they went up to the recently released Tekken 8 from last year, since this franchise is 30 years old. By the way, Tails and I will be next whenever someone loses a battle. First Knuckles, then Tails, and finally me, and the cycle repeats.
Knuckles is off to a good start as Kazuya, but I can tell the controls are stiff. And there's not enough moves unless you look up the combo moves. The grapples are the easiest moves since you just press 2 of the right buttons and 2 left buttons and they just look fun. Yoshimitsu is a tough one since he has powerful kicks and has a sword unlike most Tekken fighters.
And speaking of kicks, you're almost done, Knucklehead.
Not for long. I better do another grapple and a kick since this ancient game has the characters take forever to get up, unlike the later games.
You were lucky, Knuckles. Aren't we also going to invite guests to watch the gameplay with us, Sonic?
Yeah, a few guests will watch later, and Amy invited our guests from the multiverse, but they haven't arrived yet.
I wonder where they are. Sonic, hurry up, we don't want to be late.
Late? Ames, it's just a game night. We're not catching a train to the special zone or something.
It's not just a game night. We're playing Tekken with Juan's characters, and I plan on showing them my moves.
Oh, so you've been training, huh? What, you planning to go all Mishima style on him?
You know it! Ever since we played Dragon Ball FighterZ and I lost, I've dedicated my time to getting really good at fighters. I've been practicing my Asuka and Lily combos. No mercy tonight, Sonic. I've got frame data memorized, I've been working on my footsies, and my mix-ups are gonna leave you guessing. But honestly, I'm not even sure if we're gonna get to play. We gotta see what the other versions of us wanna do first. One of the other Amy's is for sure gonna be there, though. And I really want to chat with her a bunch.
Combos or not, you're still gonna have to deal with me. You already know my Hwoarang is cracked.
Cracked? More like about to get bodied. You rely too much on flowchart tactics.
Flowchart? I call it strategy.
Strategy? More like autopilot. I hope you lab some real setups this time.
Hey, it works. Now let's go, Ames. I just hope the other Ames doesn't beat me up this time.
Wow! I forgot in the first 2 Tekken games. The characters jump like they're in the moon, but after that, they jump realistically.
Humans don't jump that high unless they're Super Mario or any human character from games. It feels illogical, but then again, the Tekken games have robots, bears, kangaroos, dinosaurs, and walking tree houses as fighters.
Not to mention devils. Fighting games sure throw in a lot of bizarre characters. Now I'm fighting one of my favorite characters, Paul Phoenix, the self-proclaimed toughest in the universe.
This isn't good, Knuckles. Paul already did a flurry of kicks, and I can tell the difficulty spiked up.
I know, I wanted to win. Here, Tails, that was just cheap. It's not fair the computer player gets up faster.
We have to give praise to this game, and also give criticism. It's groundbreaking, but it hasn't aged well.
Might as well give me the control, Tails. Yup,
Shit!
I knew it. This game is older than my first pair of gloves, and they're filled with holes.
Every other time we play Tekken games, we ignore this dinosaur. We'll only play it for the fans and to show where the franchise began.
I'm glad I'm not playing this game. I might get angry again like in the Ratchet and Clank and SpongeBob movie gameplay.
Now it's my turn again. I should just mash buttons if we can't beat Paul.
It's interesting that Paul Phoenix used to be a serious character before he became a joke in the later games. And that silly hairdo doesn't help.
Yet Kazuya, Jin, and Heihachi all have wacky hairstyles, and they are the serious ones.
Coming from a bunch of colorful talking animals with powers, that's rich.
I think Knuckles is actually doing it. Come on, Knuckles. You're doing a badass job as Kazuya.
Finally, the cheerleading helped, Amy. Let's hope it gets easy again.
I'll answer the door. I think it's the current Sonic's twin and his Amy.
Hey guys! Sorry we're late. It's a jungle out there. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get here any quicker.
Aw, man. I told you to come on, Sonic. Now we missed all the early stuff.
No need to crash out, Ames. Looks like they just started and... Oh, what's up, Shadow? Nux. I believe this is our first time meeting. Damn it! This variation of us, anyway.
Even though we got off at the wrong foot, I'm glad your delusions were wiped out by the boss.
Welcome to the club, current Sonic's twin. It's Tails' turn again.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for having us, Amy. We were thrilled when you asked us to join. Sorry we couldn't bring Tails and Knuckles. Tails is working on something for his tornado, and Knuckles is off on a warrior's quest to soak flames.
Yeah, he went and watched the Kung Fu Panda movies, and now Bro thinks he's the next Echidna warrior of legend, real bodacious and stuff. Actually, that reminds me, you guys should do a movie review on Kung Fu Panda. Just, please, for the love of God, don't do the fourth one.
Definitely. We'll have to review the first movie in May, since we got a lot to do for the next few months.
Sorry I look shaky and petrified, but this computer player is pissing me off. And Law is an awesome character, but fuck this difficulty.
So what did we miss, Amy? Are we gonna get to play too? Cause I'm all ready to go. I wanna beat the brakes off everyone here with my ultra-high game sense. Not much, but our Tails, Knuckles, and Rouge are the ones playing while us hedgehogs have been watching. We're a little too tired of playing games since we've done wedding plans since New Year's.
I almost beat him. Tails, please pummel Law for me. As for you, alternate Sonic and Amy, I'm a loud and brash Knuckles, unlike yours. And this Shadow here is a mellow, full-on heroic hedgehog, unlike yours. He's a little edgy, but not so broody since 2009.
Yeah, Ames. This Shadow may be a lot less broody, but he got you right in the ego with that one. Now let's sit down and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Rouge. Guess this is our first time meeting you too, huh?
Yes, and I guess Tails gave up on Kazuya. I will choose Nina next. If our Amy and Sonic won't play, maybe you two new hedgehogs can play, but be warned, this game is hard as hell.
I'll sit next to you, Rouge. Hope you don't mind. I'm ready to see some awesome matches.
Guess I'll sit next to Shadow then.
I don't really care, just as long as you don't take any of my cheese pizza.
Man, this game looks terrible. Sasuke doesn't even look like himself.
Oh, hush, Sonic. Plus, that's not even Sasuke, idiot. That's Kazuya.
Whatever, Ames. You're just mad you're as useless as that other pink-haired girl.
Oh?
You heard me. You're like a low-tier copy, the off-brand Amy Rose. Like, if I ordered Amy online and got you instead. Plus, I can actually tolerate this version of you.
You don't want to deal with me on a regular basis. I'll nag playing all the time. And I can be extra lazy now that the rest of us have been retired for 15 years. Your Amy needs you, and you're just persistent.
Even though we've been matured, some of us tend to go back to our teen tendencies and old habits, and my Amy is one of them. So, alternate Amy, what do you have to say to your Sonic?
木玉はシンジを知らないバリなエナだ。私をブトレグと呼んだことを後悔しながら、地にまみれてもがき苦しみ、最後に私の命を叫び、それでも人のために生きる幸せを使ったもののように、割れて砕け、沈んでいくがいい、ソニック。
This Amy sure is a threatening girl, and you need to give respect to your friends like we do. Also, the King George Island and Venezia stages were supposed to be where we fight the sub-boss and Heihachi if we never gave up as Kazuya.
And speaking of Venezia, Law is just as tough as Heihachi. Damn, he's fast. Now it's Knuckles' turn again.
Heihachi is almost impossible to beat without losing once, unlike martial law in this game. In fact, the PS1 version of this game is slower, yet a little easier to beat if you get used to it.
When we discuss the Mishimas and Kazamas in a future Tekken discussion video, I'll explain that the current Shadow and I can relate to these humans, mainly Kazuya and Jin due to their devil genes.
Come on! I was so close to beating Law! It's so unfair the controls are stiff, and when you try to mash buttons, the computer player outwits you!
Once we play the later games, it'll be a lot easier, fun, and harder in a more reasonable manner. I can do this. I will. Fuck my life! I think we should just switch to the next game, since no one can make it past the first half of this game and on easy mode. At least with the PS1 version of this game, it only gets hard when you fight Heihachi in the final stage.
I agree. Who else wants to play the next Tekken arcade game?
Yeah, you guys are right. Let's go to the next one.
Ooh, I'm so amped for Tekken 2. Hopefully we all have better luck on this one.
Before we play Tekken 2, let's wait and watch the arcade opening. It was one of the earliest 3D cutscenes before the PS1 port had the intro and ending cutscenes for the main characters.
Whether it's in the arcade or on a home console, if you just leave the game at the start, you have these statistics, a demo of the characters fighting, or an intro. Even in the first game, it does that.
If the Chaotix were with us, they'd want us to play as King. Maybe in a future Tekken gameplay video, we'll play as the Jaguar Masked Luchador.
Or maybe Yoshimitsu, since his kicks are very quick, and he can heal while sitting down. He can even fly, but doesn't have a biplane like I do. I would play as either Xiaoyu or Panda, since I used to play as them in Tekken Tag. 4 and 5 back in the day.
If this video gets over 500 views or more within a month, we'll have to do more Tekken gameplay, and with more guests, too.
Perfect. That'll be exciting seeing others not from our franchise playing again. And here's the animated arcade intro.
You can tell the model of Kazuya looks so dated with his blockiness. But this was mind-blowing back in the day. It's amazing how far we've come in technology.
Fun fact, this intro has different music in the PlayStation 1 version of the game, and even the announcer saying Tekken sounds different. Plus, it's unsettling and uncanny seeing this really old CGI intro of Kazuya doing his fighting moves.
All right, now that we got back to the menu, it's time to play Tekken 2, the improved sequel yet still feels ancient.
I know some fans say this game is their favorite, and we respect that, but we think the third one is the best.
Deja vu, am I right? We got the same good morning from the announcer from the previous game.
Uh-oh, this is the scary Heihachi intro. His face still haunts me.
Ah! Get this off the screen!
This is nightmare fuel. Please skip it.
That face does look creepy, and the music sure as hell doesn't help.
I bet that intro scared a lot of young gamers back in the day. Heihachi wanted revenge after getting thrown off a cliff by his son, who himself got revenge, so revenge to another revenge. God, the Mishimas are a fucked up family!
They sure are a fucked up family thanks to the devil gene being the curse. But anyway, let's change the settings again.
One cool thing about these options is that you can make Baekdu-san as a default character instead of Jun Kazama.
Jun Kazama is the mother of Jin Kazama and the wife of Kazuya Mishima. This was her only canonical game appearance until the recent 8th game.
Fans of this franchise were begging Namco to bring back June, and better late than never. Let's hope Sega brings back the Chow Garden in future Sonic games, or just remaster all of the games from the 2000s.
And this roster is bigger since the sub-bosses are actually playable, unlike the previous game. New characters are Lei Wulong, Bruce Irvin, Jack 2, and the animal boxers Roger and Alex. Who should Rouge play as?
Since we had trouble beating Law in the previous game, let me look. Whatever. Let's play as Martial Law.
Law is really fast and has dragon-themed moves.
And we're already fighting Paul Phoenix. These two friends became jokes after the 4th game. Don't believe us? Watch their cutscene endings.
The movesets have expanded in this game, and Law never did those flips in the previous game. They're real dominant moves.
We're already off to a great start. Rouge is an expert in this game, but I think she's better when we take turns in versus mode than in arcade mode.
Tell me something I don't know, Knucklehead. But I got more trivia. That one-punch grapple was also from Li Chaolan's moveset, but it was gone before the 4th game.
I thought you were going to succeed with that charged punch, but it's rare when you successfully hit someone, it nearly defeats the opponent.
In case if you can't tell, and if you're not familiar with fighting games, Martial Law is the Bruce Lee of the Tekken series. Almost every fighting game tends to have a Bruce Lee clone since that martial artist is a legend. Game companies want their own version of the little dragon.
The tables have turned. We went from playing as Nina against Law to Law against Nina.
You disappointed me, bitch. Now you're gonna pay.
Kazuya definitely needs it next since he was our original choice. We thought we'd pass the first game with him, but no! His and Heihachi's role in this game were reversed. Kazuya is a villain, and Heihachi is a hero. Kinda.
Kazuya is the final boss of Tekken 2, and so is his devil form. It's actually intense and exciting whenever you fight him.
I don't know why, but Yoshimitsu's design in this game reminds me of Espio, if he were a cybernetic ninja alien instead of a chameleon.
In the 3rd game, he looked more like if his head was like a skull fused with an onion. We call Tekken 3, and Tekken Tag 1's Yoshimitsu, the Onion Man.
If only you didn't mention onions when I'm here, Sonic. I'm getting horrific flashbacks, and for once it's not Maria. It's the fan art of me and that ogre, not the one from Tekken 3. You know who I'm talking about.
Shrek isn't here, Shadow. But anyway, Jack 2 is the successor to the original Jack. Not counting the 4th game, every Tekken game has a robot named Jack. They're big and heavy but easy to hit, and in later games they can fly. God damn, I shouldn't have talked.
I'm surprised Rouge lost at level 5. I thought we'd wait until the sub-boss, which is back, by the way. This is the only Tekken game to not have a continue music.
It's also the last in the series where the original King and Kuma are playable. Kuma passed away at an old age and had a son. King was murdered by Ogre before the events of the 3rd game, and an orphan took the mantle and was trained by Armor King. That's another sample of Tekken lore.
Armor King was also murdered, but by Craig Marduk before the events of the 4th game. And the 2nd King wanted revenge, but spared him after realizing that revenge isn't the answer.
It's interesting that plenty of fighters have enticing backstories. You'd think they would have more spin-offs. Nina Williams is the only Tekken character to have her own game, and it's called Death by Degrees. I guess it didn't sell well. Who knows?
But I was lucky enough to have my own game. Admittedly, it wasn't the best, but it felt so good getting the spotlight as well as last year with the current Shadow having his Generations game. Also because of Sonic Movie 3, my game from 2005 is getting even harder to buy online and getting even more expensive than it was originally.
Same goes for the physical copies of Sonic Adventure 2 on both the Dreamcast and GameCube. Both games were expensive enough, but now with the mainstream knowing about our franchise, the older games have skyrocketed in price.
Heihachi sure switched places with Kazuya all right. I think this is his only main character role in the games, while in every other Tekken game, he's either the villain or an unlockable character that's a side villain.
We forgot to ask the alternate Sonic and Amy their thoughts on the 2nd game. What do you think of it so far?
Do you like it better than the 1st game? Pretty much everyone in the channel does, obviously.
Oh yeah! This game's aesthetic I'm pumped for these matches.
Me too, Ames. But they still recover super slow on the ground, which kinda kills it for me.
I bet if we did a poll on which Tekken game of the original trilogy that was released on PS1,
God damn!
either this game or the third one would get the most votes.
Just because it's my turn, I won't give up losing. And unlike our Amy, I won't throw a fit or storm off leaving or getting restrained. I can do better. I gotta use my brains.
Does that mean if you lose, you won't give me the controller?
Not until I finally cave in and give up. Then I'll give it to either you or the alternate Sonic or Amy. Smart thinking as usual, Tails. I know for sure that's something I should have done instead of being an angry bitch twice in the Ratchet & Clank gameplay video.
But at least the fans thought your temper tantrums were the funniest parts of that video, and I helped you out keeping calm.
And look at that. Tails didn't swear after losing. You know that's serious commitment in never giving up until it's time.
Tails is a very resilient fox. It takes him forever to give up on anything. That's why he's been hanging out with me and Rouge since we joined this channel while you hedgehogs were making these videos.
And the three of us will be in a lot of videos this year, mainly before the wedding. We still haven't decided when exactly it'll take place.
Thanks for the support, but this year is more about Sonic and Amy's marriage and my older counterpart with his cream. I appreciated the encouragement. And hey, I finally beat Michelle. Now it's time for the sub-boss, Beck Du-san, the Taekwondo instructor.
Beck was originally killed by Ogre, but it was revealed that he was in a coma between the events of the 3rd and 5th games. As you can tell in the first tag game and the 5th and 6th games, he's Hwoarang's instructor. They are the teacher and the student.
The main reason why Beck is martial law's sub-boss is what the instruction manual from the PS1 port of the game said. A person aware of the truth about his father's death threatened to go public with the truth of his past if he didn't destroy his blackmailer's competition. The attack on the martial arts school took place while the school's instructor was away. A confrontation between Beck Du-san and martial law was inevitable.
As for that coma, he was in a military hospital and became an instructor in his homeland of Korea to teach the soldiers Taekwondo while his main student Hwoarang was in the 3rd and 4th tournaments. They didn't meet again until the 5th one.
We can go for days explaining the stories of these fighters. Just like how Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat have awesome and badass characters, Tekken characters have great backstories and conclusions.
In case if I lose again, I'm letting the current Sonic's twin play next. Or maybe I can do this. The kicks are working. Nope. Yup, I knew it. At least I tried.
I guess you got 2 hearts in addition to your 2 tails. Tails.
Quick question. Why do all creams call you Miles instead of Tails?
It's simple. Mine and my alternate counterparts' real names are Miles. And since we have girlfriends, it's kinda expected of the women to call their boyfriends by their first full name.
Besides Amy, you're probably the only one to have a full name that doesn't have your species name like the rest of us. It's always insert name, the animal.
That won't last longer, Shadow. Once I'm married, I'll legally change my name to Amy Rose the Hedgehog. It may not be catchy, but it makes perfect sense since I'm already a hedgehog. And speaking of Amy, I think my alternate counterpart should play next.
Wait, I thought Sonic was going to add Rose to his name.
It's normally the wife taking her husband's last name. It makes better sense narratively to add the Hedgehog to my fiancé's name.
Looks like the other Amy is on a roll. I think she's actually going to beat Beck. If she does, her Sonic better thank her for helping him. You guests have been staring at each other weirdly. Spit it out if you have any issues.
今回はエミーロズがお前のインチを救っただけよ、ソニック。私はまだ本当の糧を下していない。今度はそんな慶運はないと思え。
Phew! Thanks for the save, Ames. That was close.
Way to go, alternate Amy. You made it to the final boss. I know you can kick Kazuya's ass. Wish me luck, Sonic. This is Devil Kazuya I'm up against.
Despite the game's flaws, at least this final boss is a lot more tolerable to beat than Heihachi from the first game, and the music and the atmosphere is haunting.
It's actually my favorite final boss of the Tekken series. Kazuya is a corrupted man with the devil on his side. He's edgy just like me and the other shadows.
Well, duh. Of course you're both edgy. Anyway, my alternate self is doing a lot. You can do it!
She's almost done. Bam! You beat Kazuya, but not yet. You have to fight his final form.
Kazuya turns into the one, the only.
Devil! This is it. The alternate Amy just helped you guys go through this arcade game, and now she's at the final boss's final form, the Purple Devil.
You can do it, other me. Show that devil you're the boss.
After failing to beat the first game, we really need to beat this one.
Finish it. Like your life depends on it.
Yeah, kick his ass!
Oh yeah, I got him. See that, guys? I told you I've been practicing, Sonic.
Wow, okay, I'll admit it, Ames. That was sweet. You mopped the floor with him.
Well, I tried my best and it just worked out, Sonic. I'm really proud of you, alternate me. This is why I trust you, and that we're the same. You're a resilient gamer and have a lot of determination. I may have a bit of a childish sore loser attitude at times, but we're still Amy.
In most Tekken arcade games, after beating the final boss, you get a replay of all the fights. In the console versions, it's just the first game and the first tag game that does this, but in all the other games, it shows the cutscene endings of each character.
But there's still cutscenes for the main characters of the first Tekken. And in the first Tekken tag, the cutscene endings use the in-game graphics instead of full-motion CGI footage.
We beat this game together, not just the other Amy, but me, Rouge, and Tails.
We never gave up. We never quit or walked out of this game session. But we must give Tails credit for never giving up on beating this game. Sure, we have to thank this alternate Amy for finishing the game for us. But once again, we did this together.
It really means a lot to me. I'm sure we'll beat these games together more often. In fact, I remember we had to help Sonic, Amy, and Shadow beat the SpongeBob movie game while we were in Mexico back in November.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and put in the initials. Since it's our first time doing this, let's just use the channel name, J, C, and L. After all, we can't just use one of our names.
The music sure sounds so 80s and 90s. The synth and the atmospheric tone really sound so eerie and cheesy.
Absolutely! We got the initials in and we beat the game as Law. Now let's play the third and final game in the original trilogy that just so happens to be ported to the PlayStation 1.
Hell yeah! Tekken 3! I can't wait for it!
Even though we're not playing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, and the alternate Sonic and Amy were playing the first two Tekken games, and each installment got better and better.
And since Tails and the alternate counterparts from the Sonic the Hedgehog channel played at the end of the previous game, I'll once again go first and play as Hihachi.
I'm so hyped up! This game is already different with its gameplay. The graphics and even the announcer, as you can hear his deep, edgy voice saying, "Good morning."
The awesome thing about this arcade game, you get two intros. The main one is this one called an Embu, which is the characters training to fight.
The other one is a CGI intro of Jin seeing a vision of his parents and then punches Ogre. But you'll have to stay on the start screen and see fight demos before you watch it.
There's a lot of new characters in this game, but they fight very similarly to the ones from the previous games. Also, the character models have better textures than the blocky robotic details and the Lego-looking arms from the first two games.
There's the Onion Man, Yoshimitsu, and Forest Law, and Lei Wulong. Forest is the son of Martial Law, and they're practically twins despite the age gap.
Let's not forget about Jin Kazama, the son of Kazuya Mishima and Jun Kazama.
And the capoeira expert, Eddie Gordo. His dance kicks are devastating.
And finally, the second king, who did a flying muscle buster to Lei. This game is already making me want to play, but I'll have to wait until Rouge loses.
Yet again, let's tweak the settings, but this time, we're doing 2 rounds since we love this game so much.
One thing that I keep bringing up to my Sonic over the years is that Tekken 3 is the most replayable game in the entire original trilogy. I wish it was given a re-release or remaster on modern consoles.
The Tekken series is 30 years old, and the older games do need a little fix. Mainly the first 2 games, but the third game is perfect as is. But yeah, a re-release, whether physical or digital, is well deserved.
Wow! This one is much better than all the other ones. Right, Sonic?
Yeah, Ames. They even got Shrek in this one, too.
Haha, yeah, but that's not Shrek, Sonic. That's Ogre. Can't blame you for thinking that way, though. They do share a resemblance.
Let's just play as Hihachi. He's an easy and powerful character. He's also a unique villain in video games.
Yeah, when you think about it, Heihachi wants to get rid of the devil gene in his son and grandson. That's a justification at first, until you realize he wanted that power as well. The Mishimas and Kazamas are not only a fucked up family, but a whole plethora of corrupt people. Jin's the closest thing to a hero along with his mom, June.
Then in the 5th game, there's Asuka. She fights similarly to June, but she's got a few of her own moves, and she's the only other female member of the Kazama family. There's no real explanation why and how she's related to Jin and June. She could be a cousin or something.
Since this game only gets difficult during the last 3 stages, let's recap what's been going on in the channel so far. I proposed to my Amy to be my lovely wife, and just recently, Adventure-era Tails did the same to his Cream.
And just after the Spy Kids review, Adventure-era Amy wants to renew her wedding vows with her Sonic. So that's 3 weddings in the spring. I know there are a few people who want to have 2 marriages like friends and relatives sharing a venue, but 3? I love it.
I better get overtime pay for being the maid of honor. Same with Blaze being the wedding planner. With 3 weddings at once, it's gonna be big.
My older counterpart marrying his Cream was probably made because he wanted to have his own family. I guess so the 6 baby hedgehogs can have fox rabbit cousins.
Or he wanted to one-up us 4 kids crew. Remember that it's been 2 decades since they were replaced by us in our games. Sure, we weren't in the games for long like the Meta-era crew, but it still stings to them, nevertheless.
Not really, Shadow. Dreamcast/Adventure Tales is too wholesome to ask for attention. Maybe any of the Rouges would do that, but not any Tails.
And all 3 Creams would never steal the spotlight, especially if it had to do with monumental events. Getting married is a very important part of life when you find your true love. I've been wanting Sonic for a very long time, and after 7 years of being shown to the world, I finally got to be with my longtime boyfriend, and 14 and a half years later, we're finally getting married. It was well worth the wait.
Exactly, Amy. I was just nervous when we were in the games. I didn't think about how love would be, and I didn't want to show my vulnerable side like any Sonic. Because of the current /meta crew being in the games in 2010 onwards, I gave you plenty of time to be with me and it paid off big time. I'm a lucky son of a bitch having a girl falling for me. I feel so bad for the simps who want any Amy. Sorry, boys. She's taken by me.
As for the current Sonic and Amy, they've always been a couple. It's just that they hide it in the games, but it's starting to feel like Sega and Sonic Team could finally make the 2 hedgehogs an official couple. For crying out loud. Make them officially a couple already, god damn it. I'm saying that so people don't ship Sonic with me or that ogre that's not from Tekken.
I know fans prefer to ship me with the alien flower girl Cosmo, but she's never been in anything outside Sonic X. But I'd love it if Sega canonizes my romance with Cream. I mean, we can fly, and we're the respective best friends of Sonic and Amy.
Sometimes when I see Panda, I want Chinese food. Panda Express is so underrated. I also have to agree with Tails being with Cream, since they do have a lot in common. But wait, didn't you find a seed of Cosmo and left it in a pot when Sonic X ended?
I did, but because I was still grieving Cosmo's sacrifice, I gave the plant to the Chaotix. It's been growing very slowly for a long time.
You think Cosmo will be reborn if the plant blooms at some point? It's been 2 decades since she's been gone.
Not sure, Rouge. Alien plants are a lot more unpredictable than the ones on Earth. I'm sure Espio, Vector, or Charmy would let me know. It's gonna be a lot of explaining that I have to give Cosmo if she comes back. If she remembers everything, I hope she can accept the fact I'm back with Cream now. I was dating Cream right at the beginning, until the Metarex saga began, and we stayed friends when Cosmo joined us. It took me a few weeks to months when I got over grieving Cosmo and going back to Cream. We rarely talk about Cosmo, and for a while, we think of Timmy Turner's fairy godparent Cosmo more than the alien flower girl from our anime anime!
That's right! And we can go into detail on the Fairly Odd Parents at some point later this year, as it's another series that had its ups and downs. In particular, the downs, since it had too many new characters and shark jumping moments.
Back to the game. Yoshimitsu's other outfit in this game looks more like a Star Wars Sith Lord than an Onion Man ninja.
I wonder why Yoshimitsu keeps changing his appearance in every game. I wonder if he's just a human in expensive costumes. The previous game made him look more like a cyborg, and in the first game, he looked like a kabuki performer.
Speaking of cyborg, Brian Fury is also a cyborg, but a military officer who became a crazed maniac who wants all the power in the world. He's known for his sadistic laugh and kickboxing moves. Some of his moves are similar to Bruce Irvin, another kickboxer but isn't in this game.
One more thing about the arcade version of Tekken 3 is that all of the unlockable characters' music is the same exact one, except for Hihachi and both ogres. In the console version, however, there's remixed songs of every character and new original songs for the unlockable characters.
So, other Ames, I heard you said something about a wedding earlier. What are you guys gonna do?
Oh yeah! You did say something about that. I want to come too. Me and Sonic will be there for sure.
I mean, weddings aren't really my style, Ames. You gotta sit down for like hours. I gotta be doing something like all the time.
Oh, you're coming, Sonic, whether you like it or not.
Okay, I'll go, Ames. Jeez.
Great! Maybe you can bring your crew to the three-way wedding. This keeps getting bigger and better than ever.
We'll have plenty of space at the ceremony, and it'll be dazzling. Silver will officiate the wedding, and Current Cream will be the flower girl.
I will be the best man for Sonic, while Dreamcast Knuckles will be the best man for both his Sonic and Tails.
Someone's banging at the door. I hope it's not an ice agent.
I'll answer it. There's no way in hell that orange dictator can kick us out of the country.
Greetings. I have been dispatched to inform you of the arrival of special guests.
Whoa! It's the guy from the Doom games!
For the love of Sonic! That's Master Chief from Halo. Now shut up. I think he's got to tell us something.
Who's the guests, Chief? Is it any of my other counterparts?
The guests are SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, Silver the Hedgehog, Blaze the Cat, Jimmy Neutron, and two individuals identified as Elsa and Anna.
I knew Silver and Blaze would show up, but SpongeBob and Patrick? In our Tekken gameplay? This is gonna be fun!
As if the Ratchet and Clank video had a lot of guests. This one is even bigger. Jimmy Neutron and the humans from Arendelle are here in these gaming videos for the first time.
Elsa and Anna from the Frozen movies? I wonder if they have any interesting jewels.
Silver, Blaze, and Jimmy? I can't wait to see them too!
They are currently waiting in the designated reception area. Please proceed.
We got 7 more guests here, and if I do the math, that's 15 people in total. Jesus Christ, Shadow's right! This is a big group gameplay. Come on, everyone, let's meet our guests. Bring them in, Chief.
Is that an arcade fighting game? I've always wanted to play one.
Can we eat something?
Hey everyone, I'm glad to see you again. As for you, Patrick, we'll have to wait to eat later.
It's good to see you as well, Sonic, and this new alternative counterpart you encountered.
Wow, it's a vintage arcade fighting
so
game.
close.
This looks like fun. I bet I can create a robot that can beat any game here.
The boy distracted this Batgirl from the game, right? I hope I'm catching up. And this place is fascinating.
It's okay. This game finally got challenging, and I was so close to beating Xiaoyu. Now it's Knuckles' turn again.
Even the continue music is catchy and fun to hear.
Oh my god, I wonder if they have any snow-themed video games. That would rock.
It's getting really crowded in here with all these people, Ames.
Oh, hush, Sonic. Don't mind him. He's just being really weird today. Anyways, I think there isn't much of a need to introduce ourselves since you already met the other versions of us. We're pretty laid back most of the time.
Yeah, but we got off on the wrong foot a couple of times last year. But thanks to our boss, and in the last encounter, the alternate Sonic and his friends are cool with us.
Well, I guess everyone is here. We're playing Tekken 3. It's a fighting game where you can choose different characters and battle each other. It's a part of a long-running series of games. The 8th game came out last year. You heard me, 8. Numero ocho, bitches!
That sounds exciting. Maybe I can play next.
Are there any giant rocks?
I can try to make my own devastating combos, scientifically, by simply practicing them and following the rhythm of the hits.
Are there any characters that have ice powers in this game? I think there's Sub-Zero. Wait, wrong fighting game franchise.
Elsa, I think this is just a hand-to-hand fighting game. I don't see magic or weapons.
Okay, here's some trivia. When you play as anyone, Heihachi is the sub-boss before fighting Ogre. But when you play as Heihachi, Jin is the sub-boss. It would be silly if Heihachi fought himself.
Damn! I'm already off to a bad start with Jin. Remember, Jin is Heihachi's grandson, and he's already a powerful fighter.
The Mishimas and Kazamas have a knack for fighting, right? Well, my family has fire powers, not just me.
Blaze's parents and her cousins have firepower. It's hereditary. The Tekken games focus on this family because it's a roller coaster of emotions.
So these are the talking animals you told me, James? I need a little time to adjust to this new setting.
Precisely, Elsa! These are Mobians. They have their own powers, and they're from a video game franchise. Thanks to the multiverse, I was able to connect all our worlds, and we've been hanging out. Say, Knuckles, how about SpongeBob can go next? He's been waving his hand to play.
Sure thing, but Jin is no joke character. Give it your best shot.
I don't know any moves, but I can try my best karate moves on this spiky-haired human. I'd make a great guest character in these games, and Barnacles!
Let me play next. I can see if this man can handle a rock-solid starfish.
If SpongeBob and Patrick can't beat Jin, maybe I can go next. Just so I can do my research on how the Mishima Kazama fighting style is like.
Since Jin and his dad Kazuya have devil genes, I bet their powers are similar to mine and Blaze's.
They can't be taken lightly. We may be faster than them, but if we just fought them without using our powers, we'd be even.
Now it's the Human Boy Genius's turn. By the way, this isn't my first time in a gameplay video because I played the SpongeBob movie game with the others in Mexico, but the full video is still not finished.
So why are Elsa and Anna here in the channel in the first place? Sonic and I wanted more help with movie reviews, and they wanted in on our wedding by trying out their catering since their food in Arendelle is heavenly.
Plus, we needed more humans, and we needed someone in particular with ice and snow powers, right?
Yes. I was going to come and join the channel by myself, but my sister begged me to come too. When your movie self gave me a ring, I thought he wanted to propose, but once I saw that it's a portal, Anna and I came in and saw these different universes. Now we're here.
Jin is not to be messed with. His uppercuts and kicks are unpredictable. Gas Planet, I lost! Perhaps another genius can beat Jin.
And the only other genius in the game room is me. Maybe this could be my redemption for finishing the arcade mode of any Tekken game. I usually give up, even on easy mode.
The world is watching, Tails. And since this is Tekken 3, I think you'll crush Ogre in both forms.
I know I'm still new here, and I haven't gotten to know each of you, but I hope the two-tailed fox can finish this game. He's got a big heart.
Yes, they all do. I know the black and red hedgehog looks a little unfriendly, but deep down he's got a pure heart. He lost a friend a long time ago who told him to be a cunning and courageous warrior to the people.
That friend was Maria. She was my best friend, and only friend too. But then, I was locked in a capsule chamber for 50 years in Prison Island until Professor Robotnik's grandson known as Eggman freed me from my state and to rule the world. Speaking of my story, the next video is the big one, a review of Sonic Movie 3.
Holy shit! You're right! We needed to make the review because it'll be our 200th video on the channel. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in this video will be in the next video along with the movie crew.
That's not all. We just got 400 subscribers. We're really accomplishing a lot in a small matter of days and weeks. We want to thank you guys for keeping this channel alive, and it's going to get bigger.
This calls for yet another celebration. The guests that showed up can join us having snacks.
We got it covered, Knuckles. Elsa and Anna are going to offer us a treat when we finish the gameplay.
This is Ogre? I thought he'd have weird ears and have a Scottish accent.
Instead, he looks like a giant Aztec god that has green body paint or something.
Come on, Tails. You can do it. Ogre is a big target. It's hard not to miss.
Ha! I got to beat Ogre, but that's not it. I remember that his final form is some kind of monster that just sounds like a bear.
What's interesting is that Ogre harnesses the power of the defeated opponent to turn into true Ogre. With anyone, it's Heihachi. But when you play as Heihachi, it's Jin.
True Ogre sounds like a bear because it uses the same sounds Kuma makes, but it looks like a bat, a turtle, a frog, a lion, and a ram morphed into a horrid beast.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I finally beat a Tekken game.
Way to go, Tails! You were lucky that Ogre is an easy boss. You'd have a little more trouble with Kazuya and Heihachi from the previous games.
Of course, there's Unknown from both tag games, Heihachi in the 4th game in a diaper, Jinpachi in the 5th game, and Azazel from the 6th game.
So now that we finished this game, we have to do a movie review, right?
That's right! Sonic Movie 3. It's been a long time coming, and we'll all be there to share our thoughts on the movie.
Now that the movie has been in theaters for over a month, we can analyze the pros and cons of that movie and how my movie self was represented. I'll say one thing. I'm disappointed Movie Shadow didn't eat cheese pizza from his Maria.
I'm surprised there hasn't been any little crossover with me and the movie Land Critters aside from those football games Patrick and I were watching. We would see them in the crowd.
Yeah, the blue one would eat the popcorn quickly. I got eating competition again.
It's amusing to see these previous fights. I'll have to try out playing this game with Carl and Sheen whenever I can have another game night with them. I've played too many Ultra Lord and Llama games for 23 years now.
Just like the previous game, we'll add the channel's initials to the records.
So we got to play 3 games, and Sonic Movie 3 needs to be reviewed next. But before we do that, let's watch the other intro of the game.
It was wonderful playing with you all in a short matter of minutes.
We should do this again sometime.
As a token of our gratitude, we would be honored if you would join us for a banquet. We brought a few chefs from Arendelle to a bingo hall room, and we've prepared a feast fit for a queen.
A banquet from Arendelle? I'm in. I've always wanted to try their chocolates and mints.
Did you say fit for a queen? Now you're speaking my language.
I hope the chefs from Arendelle can make pizzas. If not, I better call Pizza Hut, Domino's, or Papa John's if there aren't any.
Because of the other intro not popping up, let's just explain it. We see a close-up of Jin with the visions of his parents Jun and Kazuya, the only time we see Jin's parents in Tekken 3, aside from a photo of Kazuya in Eddie's ending.
After envisioning his parents, Jin charges his fists and punches Ogre, who supposedly held a decapitated head. People thought that was Jun's head, and others said it was the original King's head, but it would have been a jaguar mask.
The punch was a first-person view and it felt quick and badass. It's the kind you'd watch on repeat. Way better than the scary face of Heihachi from the previous game.
That's the wrap-up of the video. We're about to be in a banquet. I'd better make Krabby Patties if there aren't any sea burgers made by the Land Critters.
I'll probably eat from every table.
As the maid of honor for the wedding, I need to taste test everything. And I must know if Elsa and Anna are the best caterers. If Patrick can love the food and pig out, I will too. Well, you know the drill, everyone.
Go ahead and give this video a like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you won't miss new videos. And we got so many coming up.
And spread the word. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. I hope our TikTok is here to stay in the USA.
Our next video is the long-awaited review of Sonic Movie 3. We'll be with the Queen and Princess sisters from Arendelle at a banquet. This'll be our sample of their catering at the three-way wedding.
Stick around and stay tuned for more new videos. What do you say? Alternate me and current Sonic twin? Do you want to join us at the banquet? Oh my gosh! A banquet? Oh, I'm so good at cooking. I can't wait to help with the catering. Just ask Sonic. Last time, I whipped up the best deviled eggs in town. Right, Sonic?
Nah, Ames. I said they were the best devil eggs I ever seen. You know? 'Cause they tasted like the devil.
Whatever, Sonic. I'm gonna be the one to say the thing this time, since you said it in the Sonic Goes to Jail video.
Yeah. Knock yourself out, Ames.
Peace out, and rock on!
It is time. I must join the colorful bunch in the review of my debut. They're gone again. Oh well, I'll see them at this banquet. Stay tuned for the review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Time for a verdict. For real, peace out and rock on. Chaos Control!
This has been Juan CL Productions. The end.